Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's my pleasure, it's an honor as usual being out here in nature, listening to the chirping of the birds and enjoying the cool of the evening, and always bringing this message of emancipation to you, whereby I'm pointing you to look no other place but to look inwardly to discover that your real identity is your divinity. And that was the formula that Abdullah taught Neville Goddard many years ago. And I like to speak about Neville Goddard's mentor because Abdullah is our ancestor. And so he taught Neville how inner engineering can be used for prosperity and money. And that is what I want to speak to you about. Inner engineering for prosperity and money. Now, as we know, as Neville shared the story of having this burning desire to travel back to the Caribbean, which he grew up, and it happened to be Barbados, which is just 35 miles away from where I'm living here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and where also the Goddard family business is still existing here and is the biggest business in the city right now under a different name. So it's really a joy for me to speak about this inner engineering that Abdullah taught Neville Goddard when he had the desire to come to these parts. And so Abdullah, who would have done this act on behalf of Neville Goddard, he taught him the practical concerning what he was teaching him through the Bible and the Kabbalah and so on, and how all these things are just our human mind, and how the stories in the Bible, that they are symbolic and they're all pointing to our mind. And so the main thing that Abdullah taught Neville Goddard was inner engineering, how to master and direct his inner thought, how to vibrate in the right frequency, knowing that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. Therefore, everything begins inwardly. So if we're going to master our life and our situations, if we're going to deal with the circumstances, knowing that we are not the creatures of circumstances, but circumstances are the creatures of man, then we will have to understand the power of inner engineering. Now, as we all know, a farmer has to learn how to manage his field and when to plant his crop, when to mow his crop, when it's sowing time, when it's harvest time, or to remove the weeds, how early to wake up to go into his field, and how late to leave, whether he should plant his seed with the moon, and so on. And the farmer understands the importance of the sunlight on his crop, and the importance of the rain on his crop, and the farmer would put certain things in place to protect his crop from worms and so on, or things that would destroy his crop also. So too, we have to practice inner engineering by being the policeman of our mind, watching our thoughts each and every day, and understanding that every second, every minute, every hour is counted. Realizing that these moments are what make up our life and how we spend our life here, knowing that we are spirit having a human experience, and our thoughts are actually coming from the spirit realm. Therefore, if we must have the results that we so desire, that we must practice inner engineering. So it wasn't until that Neville started to implement inner engineering in his life, whereby he would sleep as if he sleep in his mother's home in Barbados, while he was actually living in New York and had to walk the streets of New York where there were so many high-rise buildings, and imagine himself walking the streets of Barbados like Coconut Lane Street and so on, Palm Lane Street and so on. And when you look at the difference of the buildings in New York to the buildings that are here in the Caribbean, which are just 2- and 3-story buildings, you see how much he had to have a vivid imagination and how he had to really practice this inner engineering to come to that place of creating his reality consciously. So my brother, my sisters, my encouragement to you is to practice inner engineering. And you can do it by using affirmations. You can do it by writing your desires on a card and reading it over and over throughout the day. But the main point I want to get across to you is to implement inner engineering in your life by being more responsible of your thoughts, because it is your thoughts that is giving you the results in your life. Every action comes from a thought, and a word is a thought expressed. So everything that we're benefiting from in this world today, it is because someone was careful enough to practice inner engineering. Could you imagine we're living in an age which is known as the digital age, and we have things like AI, we have Tesla, we have all of these things that are happening, we have Amazon, we have all of these things, okay? You get the idea what I'm speaking about. It took people who was disciplined enough to practice inner engineering, and they never doubt their thoughts and their ideas. These are people who trust their imagination. These are people who trust their intuition. And so when you practice inner engineering, you become so familiar. You will have a personal relationship with your intuition that is so strong that you would know how or when to act based on what your intuition is telling you. But it is something you have to practice over and over and over. For example, I'm normally say to people that I've built such a relationship with my intuition that I can trust my intuition 100%. And I know anytime I go wrong, it is because I did not listen to my intuition. I didn't listen to that inner most intelligence, that infinite intelligence that is so correct in everything, for it's the infinite you. So I'm saying to you, when you practice inner engineering, you're being more connected with your inner self, your true self, and so you will understand the inner world, because when you have the right understanding of the inner world, you'll be able to create your outer world based on how you manage your inner world. So if you design your inner world, then you'll be able to manage and design your outer world, because that would be the reflection of that inner world. Because everything on the outside is actually reflecting what is going on the inside. So you see, there are many people today who are inmates, and the things that they would have done, it is because of what was going on the inside. So if someone have hatred, envy, malice, stealing, raping, all of these kind of thoughts, and they allow all of that to run wild within, and they dwell on those things, it is quite possible that they will act out these things, and that is actually the fruit. That is they are reaping the harvest. So my brother, my sisters, all you have to do is just shift it around and practice inner engineering in a positive way, so you get positive results. Because as you sow, so shall you reap. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And when you say heart, it is speaking of the subconscious mind. So whatever you download in the subconscious mind, that is what the subconscious mind will give back to you. That is why you are also told in the Bible to understand the power of giving, where it says, give and it shall come back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall man give into your bosom. All of this giving that is speaking about, it all starts from within. So practice inner engineering to guide and lead you in your everyday experience. So with that being said, my brother and my sisters, I want to thank you very much, and I want to say to you, if what I'm saying is really making sense to you and is really resonating with you, and you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. But before I leave you, I just want to let you know that this message I bring to you, that it is the single eye, yes, the single eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 says, if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. And that's the light that Abdullah was teaching Neville to come to discover, whereby he would have discovered the promise. And I've had that same experience. That's the reason why I always say to you, had it been that I would have awakened within myself like a fiery being, after I would have heard the unearthly wind, I would have felt that great and mighty shaking, where I ascend up on high and burst my crown chakra and became invisible, became one with the wind, I wouldn't have been here bringing this message to you, saying to you that you must be connected with your inner self, which is your immortal self, which is the invisible you, by practicing inner engineering. And always saying to you that the single eye above the pyramid and the US dollar, that it is not an evil symbol. It is the symbol of the all-seeing eye of God in you, who is your imagination, for you would have an awakened imagination and come to understand that the single eye represents the eye of the seers, the prophets, the eye of the mystic, those who will go beyond humanity and come into their divinity. And those who put the symbol, they put the symbol knowing of that inner power that you would discover if you truly practice inner engineering and learn to think for yourself and come out of the realm of amnesia, because we all were born in amnesia, which is a state of forgetfulness, and come back to that place of remembrance. That's the reason why I always put my hand right above my crown chakra, giving you the sign or the symbol of the single eye, saying to you that when you have the experience, that you will come to experience that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. For the sun parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there is no life and there is no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. Therefore, my brothers and my sisters, you're told that the Lord thy God is a sun and a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And truly the sun has never withhold its energy from humanity, for the sun is what powers all of humanity. And then, also, in Malachi chapter 4 and verses 2, you're told that the Son of Righteousness shall arise in you with healing in his wings. That's the reason why when this experience would have taken place in my life, I decide to bring healing to all of humanity and point each and every one to look inwardly. That's the reason why I'm saying to you to use your mind power, which is your God power, your solar power, your sun power, your creative power, which is actually the sexual power. Use that power to achieve your every desire. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.